Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. A very warm welcome to you if you're a new viewer, and hello again if you are coming back for more of this gentle, strolling chit chat about things that I've been making in my crafty life. Today is the 28th of April. You may be forgiven for thinking that it's the middle of winter because I'm still wearing my warm Felix sweater knit out of Icelandic Letlopi. That's how cold it is at the moment here in Somerset. I would normally expect or hope to think that I'd be in at least short sleeves by now, but no, it's been blooming cold. I sit in the evenings in my sweater with a blanket round me because I am not putting the heating on at this time of year. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, so in these videos I talk to you about the things that I've been making, usually knitting, but today there is a little bit of crochet as well. Notes about all the things that I talk about will be in the description box under this video, and in a few days I will also be adding more detailed chatty notes to my website, which is linked in the description box below as well. So today I'm going to be talking about a couple of finished objects, just looking down here to see what I've got. A couple of finished objects, 3 works in progress, a little bit of incoming bits and pieces, and my plans, and I'll talk to you about books and a tiny little bit of shop news as well at the end. So strap in and let's get going. So the first thing I've got to share with you is a pair of finished socks. Now I think these were not far off being finished last time, maybe. These are my stripy socks using yarn from Mr. B yarns. Actually no, so this is an old mini skein set from Mr. B, who is now Birdstreet Yarn, and a ball of Drops Fabel. Be easier if I just show them to you, wouldn't it? So here they both are. I really like these. I love the mini skein set. So let me talk you through these. These were knit using a mini skein set from Birdstreet Yarn. The mini skein set is called The Great Outdoors, and it was 5 20-gram minis, the usual sock yarn, superwash merino nylon, and I combined that. The off-white is a Drops Fabel in the colourway number 100 off the top of my head. I cast on 60 stitches, which is what I like to do for my socks. Knit about 15 rounds of 1x1 rib, and then I colour blocked them. I did a little bit of maths. You can read all about that on my website for the last in the notes for the last podcast, or you can just watch the last podcast. But I did 14 rounds of colour, 3 rounds of Drops Fabel, 40 rounds of colour, 3 rounds, etc, etc. And that got me nicely to the end where my toe starts, and I did a wedge toe. The heel is a just a straightforward slip stitch heel flap and gusset. They fit beautifully. I really like these. It's just, well, it probably is actually cold enough to wear them at the moment, but in all likelihood they will get popped away into my sock drawer until the end of the year. It's a really good way of using up scraps of yarn or ends of skeins and things like that. The socks weigh 40, 50, 65 grams. I used 40 grams of the mini skein set and 25 grams of the Drops Fabel. So it's a really good way of sort of stash busting. You obviously don't have to use a mini skein set. You can just pick out random minis or odds and ends that you've got to pop the colour in. But yeah, really happy with those. Pop them over there. The other finished object that I've got is one that you haven't seen before. At, when was it? It was Easter, and I just had a real urge to make this. I'd been watching, what's the name of the podcast? I've been watching Edible Thoughts Makes. I think the lady's name is Stephanie. It's a fairly new to me podcast and I really enjoy it. I will link it below. But Stephanie, I'm sure her name is Stephanie. If it's not, apologies. But that's the name I've got in my head. She had made a crocheted cowl, and I really liked it. And I really just had to pick up a hook and make one. So I did. And here it is. I will put it on in a minute so you can see how it sits. The yarn, let's start with the yarn. If you can, I'm sat by the window as usual and it does blow out a bit, but I will show you what I can. It's beautiful yarn. It's a skein that I was gifted as part of a swap from Camilla at Kemi Jo Knits. It's DK weight yarn and it's in her colourway Cumulus. It's lovely and soft. I really like it. And what I did was I crocheted a half a granny square. So I started at the bottom here and I crocheted up until this was a triangle, until I'd used all but about 3 grams of my yarn plus a long tail. And what I then did, now will you be able to see this? Yeah, I just simply crossed over the ends and joined them so that you get this bandana style cowl. And if I pop it on for you, I've been really enjoying wearing this. It just keeps a little bit of chill off round here. Yeah, it really scratched an itch. I whatever the phrase is for starting a crochet project, I hooked on, oh, I think it was Easter Saturday, and by Easter Monday this was finished. It was a really quick project. Used up, as I said, used all but about 3 grams of a 100 gram skein of DK weight yarn. Can't remember what size hook I used. Maybe I don't have a huge number of hooks, so maybe it was I've got a 3, a 3.5, a 4 and a 4.5 I think, so it was one of those. And I'm just very pleased with it. I don't normally do crochet, but maybe this is the start of something new. I've I've crocheted a granny stripe blanket in the past. Got a bit bored with it, but it was a project to send off with my daughter when she started university. So that was ticked off, and I haven't picked up a crochet hook since, I don't think. And never had the inclination to, but this has just, you know, tickled my fancy a little bit, so maybe there'll be a little bit more crochet going on in the future. Now, do I take this off or do I keep it on? I think I'm going to take it off. So there we are, a lovely crochet half granny square bandana cowl inspired by the Edible Thoughts Makes podcast. So that's all my finished items. On to what I'm currently working on. It's been a month since I recorded. I missed out Easter just because we had family stuff going on and I needed a little bit of a break. As I was sitting thinking about what I was going to talk about today, it didn't feel like I had a lot to share, but actually those finished objects, which I had kind of forgotten about, and the amount that I've been knitting on one of my other projects. Actually, I've done quite a lot in the last few weeks. So let's start with, I'm just looking here to decide what to start with. I think I'll start with the sort of the star of the show. One that you have, project that you've seen before. It's my Cumulus Tee. I've got it here. It's my Cumulus Tee from a pattern by Petite Knit. Just trying to find the last skein of yarn that I'm using. Here we go. I'm knitting it from this skein. Now that's going to blow out terribly. It's Tin Lena from Sandner's Garn. It's a mix of cotton, viscose and linen. It's a 50-gram ball of yarn and you get 220 meters per 50 grams. I bought 5 balls from knit.co.uk and I am about, well, I've got that much left of the 4th. The colourway, by the way, is 8561. It's this lovely sort of sagey, mossy green. Very nice. Last time I recorded, I had just split for the sleeves and I kind of thought I might have finished it, but little did I realise quite how much knitting there was involved. But I've made really good progress. There it is. So this is where I was last time and I have knit all that. That's a huge amount of knitting. The yarn is very fine. As I said, 220 meters to a 50-gram skein, so it's a light fingering weight. And I have knit both sleeves. I probably did a handful more rows just to establish the body, and then I went on and knit the sleeves at that point. And short sleeves are ever so quick to knit. I wanted to get the sleeves knit because I wanted to do the I-cord bind off and see what that looked like, and it creates a really, I think, elegant finish to the sleeve. The sleeves come down to just above the elbow. The V-neck, that was not done very well. The V-neck will be finished with the I-cord and the body will be finished with the I-cord as well. So we are now really just into knit, 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 knit. Probably for about another 10 centimetres. I'd like it to sit just on my hip bone, I think. So I reckon that's another 10 centimetres or so. Maybe a little bit more. Less. The yarn, I'm enjoying working with it. It creates a really lovely drape. It is pretty splitty. I don't know how easy this will be to show, but because of the fibre, no, I'm not even going to bother with that. But because of the fibres, the yarn splits quite easily when you're knitting, so you do have to pay a bit of attention. I have got round to the next round and found occasionally a stitch that hasn't had all the fibres picked up properly, so I've had to drop and pick up again. But you know, that's not the end of the world, is it? What else can I tell you? Did I make any notes? Oh, I'm making size 5. I'm a little bit worried that it might be a little on the big size. I have tried it on and it's very sort of floaty, and I wonder how much of a better fit it might be if I did size 4. However, when you knit the I-cord bind off, you do reduce some stitches, so that might bring the neck in a bit and that might make the fit feel a little bit more sort of secure. but we will see. We will see. It's going to be a lovely top for the summer, spring, early autumn, so quite versatile. Yeah, so hopefully by the time I record again, there will be a finished t-shirt. Okay, the next thing that I'm making, or well, that gives you a clue, doesn't it? My sock ruler. Let's get these out. Okay, I am knitting a pair of socks because you've always got to have a pair of socks on the go. Just get all the bits and pieces out that one needs. Oops, what's going on here? Okay, just going to sort this out and then I'll be back. Okay, I had a stray scrap of yarn from my last project which was causing havoc with everything that was in that bag. Right, here is my current sock project. I am knitting a vanilla pair of socks using the yarn that I showed you last time that I had bought from Beehive Yarns. There is the ball band, and this is in the colourway grass flower on the Audrey sock base, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon. It was a sock set, and you got a 50-gram skein of the main colourway, which is this lovely sort of dirty pink with green and brown and blue speckles, and it came with a 20-gram mini skein in this gorgeous green colourway. And I cast on toe up, so this is part of my toe up sock project, which if you didn't watch last time, I had knit a pair of toe up socks, wasn't particularly happy with the cast off but enjoyed the process up to that, and so I am on a mission to find the perfect toe up bind off. So this is the first of that project, and so I cast on down here using the umbrella toe from Kay Jones's umbrella socks, and then I'm just knit a plain sock up to the point where the heel starts, and then I cast the second one on and I'm working up the foot on that one as well. I'm probably just going to do a short row heel, a German short row heel, or maybe a shadow wrap heel. I've knit a shadow wrap heel before. I've heard many people talk about how neat and well fitting it is. That wasn't my experience the last time I made one, so I'd like to perhaps improve my technique. Again, it's a 60 stitch cast on. I'm using 2.25mm bamboo needles. Now I keep my sock needles all together in this packet, and it's just a mix of Chalgoos and higher bamboo needles, so these could well be a mix themselves. I don't really know. I'm sure you're not supposed to do that. I'm sure there are slight differences between different brands of needles and the sizes, but that's what we're doing. Yeah, so they are just chugging along nicely in the background. There will be a little bit more progress next time round. Maybe a lot of progress, I don't know. But as the saying goes, you've got to have a pair of socks on the needles. So those are my Beehive Yarns Grassflower socks. Now, I have one more project to show you, and this one sort of has taken me by surprise a little bit. I saw someone on Instagram, I saw Mairead on Instagram show this book, and I was just totally taken with it. It's a book of toys, and I don't knit toys. I don't have anyone to knit toys for. I don't think I wouldn't have thought I would particularly be interested in knitting toys. but I can tell you now, I do. Now the book is this. It's Mouche and Friends by Cynthia Vallée. I think she is French, I may be wrong. And I think this is a pretty new publication. It's from Liner Publishing, and if you know anything about Liner Publishing or Liner Books and Magazines, you know that the quality is very high, and this is exactly the same. I will show you a handful of pictures. I mean, come on, look at that. Ooh. How cute are these people? Animals, they're not people. And each, I think there are about 12 different creatures to make. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's actually 14. A couple of them are male and female variants. So there's 12 different patterns, I suppose. But they are super cute. Mouche, and let me show you my favourites. There's a squirrel. There is, of course, a sheep. There's a donkey. My absolute favourite is Alphonse the pig. And I was going to knit Alphonse first, but I think the shaping of the, you can't see that very well, but I think the shaping of the ears and the nose might be a little bit tricky for a first time toy knitter. So instead, I have cast on for Nana the lady duck, in her oh so cute dress and her lovely big quacky bill. And each character has got its own little story. And Nana has got a couple of little baby ducky chicks. Oh, apparently Dodo and Mimosa love Brussels sprouts. There you go. It was the photography that reeled me in with this. But when I got the book, I was so impressed with how detailed it is. You get just find the starting point for the actual animals. Okay, so the patterns cover 2/3 of the book. This is where the patterns start. But all of this is information about how to knit, the different techniques involved. She takes you through sort of lessons, starting your animals, tracking stitch count, changing colour, short rows, decreasing, embroidery. I am so impressed. And so the book arrived very quickly, I think on Monday, and I realised that I didn't have the necessary needles. Most of the patterns are knit in fingering weight yarn and call for 2mm needles. Didn't have any 2mm needles in stash, so I ordered 2 sets of higher stainless steel needles, DPN needles in 2mm from Craft House Magic. Ordered those on Monday, they arrived on Wednesday morning, and by Wednesday lunchtime I was casting on. It is fiddly. If you're a toy knitter or a sort of small circumference knitter, you will know that, but it's a lot of fun, and I will show you what I have done. I am so thrilled with this. It's not very much, but here we have the start of Nana the duck and her beak. So this is the tip of her beak, and you knit the beak and then you start with her lovely round head. I'm so happy with this. I'm the sort of person who doesn't like much stuff in my house, and we don't have a lot of things on display, and that's just the way I like it. But I can imagine a few of these little creatures sitting around the house, perched on shelves and things like that. I am really rather taken with this whole thing. The yarn that I'm using, the purple for the beak was just like a 10-gram end of something, I don't know what, and then the body I'm using in this end of, it's not really an end of skein, I don't know how much there is there, but it was half a skein perhaps, from a pair of socks that I knit. I think this is a Lay Family Yarn skein, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's going to be the body, and then obviously Nana's beautiful dress will be knit from some bits and bobs that I've got in my scrap basket, which is, had a good old sort out of it, it's just here. This leads me on to something else that I'm quite keen to do actually. Shall I talk about this now? I think I will. I was sorting out my yarn the other day, and I was watching Camilla from Cammy Jo Knits, her latest, or a recent podcast, and she just finished a corner to corner crochet blanket, and I really liked the pattern, and I really liked the way she had done it, and so I sorted through all my mini skeins and ends of mini skeins, put them in this basket and in this bag. This bag is my sort of tonals and mini bits and pieces that I can use for bodies for my newly forming farmyard or zoo or whatever it is. But I also have this box of packed full of full sets of mini skeins and a few other bits and pieces. So I think I have a bit of a mini skein problem, and I really want to use them. So my next blanket project, I'm almost finished on my bits and bobs blanket. I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to start a corner to corner crochet blanket. So go me with 2 crochet projects when I haven't crocheted for well over a year. There we go. Right, pop that down, and I think that is it for the actual knitting. Let me just check. Yes, I've got a couple of new acquisitions. I did mention them last time. I had ordered a couple of cones from Woolly Knit, so that is a trend that I have jumped on fairly late, but I'm glad to be on that trend. Here they are. Well, here's the first one. This might be quite difficult to see because it's quite pale. There we go. So this is a cone of yarn from Woolly Knit, and it's 4-ply British wool. It's a 500-gram cone, and the colourway name is Skiddaw Nep. That'll help you. Oh, it's lovely. It's a nice sort of oatmeal-y colourway with some tweedy neps in it. And I also picked up this cone of mallard green, same yarn information, and here it is. Oh, I'll show you the end again. It's a little bit greener in real life. That looks quite blue on my screen, but lovely. It feels, I mean, it doesn't feel, I've heard a lot of people say it's reasonably rustic. It's not merino soft, and it's definitely not merino soft, but it doesn't feel rustic at all to me. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to do something lovely though. They could be mulled together, and there's enough yarn there for a sweater easily, but I want to give it some thought and make something really nice with that. It will be a sweater of some variety, but I just need to decide. So that's all that has come into me. couple more things just to talk about. What I've been reading, I have, in the last week or so, I have finished all the Broken Places by John Boyne. I was listening to that on Audible. It was a superb book. I was really sad when it finished. It is the follow-up to The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas was a sort of teenage, or geared towards a sort of young adult teen audience. This book is very much geared towards an adult audience. It deals with, it's the sequel to The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. It reintroduces some of the characters from the first book in a really well thought out way. Apparently John Boyne started forming this book almost as soon as he'd finished his first book, so it's not the case of he thought it would be an easy book to write. I think he's thought quite hard and in a lot of detail about the characterization in this book, and it's done, in my view, it's done really well. And it's about atonement for things that have happened in the past, and how you deal with that. I absolutely loved it. It's a time hop book, so it hops about from the time of the first book to modern day and through various different time periods. Highly recommend it. It's a fairly newly published book. I listened to it on Audible. The narration was really good. It was narrated by two different people, one from the earlier time frame and one from the modern day. So yeah, highly recommend that. That was a definite 5-star book for me. The other book that I'm still reading, I feel like I've been reading this for quite a long time, and it's not because I'm not enjoying it, but I read it at night and I fall asleep quite quickly when I go to bed. But it's this one, The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. I have read a couple of Kristin Hannah's books before. I like her as an author. I am enjoying this book. It's about a family and their struggles in the 1930s in the American Great Plains during the Great Depression, and it covers the Dust Bowl events. This was a period of time I wasn't very well versed about. I'd heard about the Dust Bowl and all that sort of thing, but didn't really understand it. I've really enjoyed the sort of historical context of this book, more so than I'm enjoying the story about Elsa and her family. There's nothing wrong with the story. It's moving at times quite slowly, but I really find the, as I said, the historical context about how people lived during those very difficult times really interesting. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, so maybe I will finish it by the time I come back to record again. But yeah, it's okay. I don't know if any of you have read it before. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Okay, that's it for books. Tiny little bit of shop news. I have no project bag news. I am still working through your orders, coming towards the end of those, and I'm just starting to work on a couple of new collections which will probably be released in June sometime. But I have popped into the shop my latest collection of stitch markers. What I'm doing, I think I showed the Snowdrop stitch markers last time. I'm doing a monthly collection of stitch markers based on something seasonal to do with the month, and April is Blossom. And if I don't know how easily I can show you these. They're going to fall off my hand, but Blossom is pink, and so I tell you what I'll do actually. Let me find a stitch marker, a needle, and I'm just going to thread these on. There are 6 stitch markers and a progress keeper. and this is what they look like. They're so cute. I'm not sure that that's focusing. They are made from little wool felt balls. There's a variety of different shades of pink, so if you purchase a set, you'll get a sort of a randomly chosen set of 6 stitch markers and 1 progress keeper here on the end. Whoops! Progress keeper has got a fairly good sized lobster clasp on it, so it's not too fiddly. Let me just see if I can find that stitch marker because I need that for my shop. Can't find it. There we go. Might have to make another one. It's there somewhere. And they come in a little metal tin, so you can keep them nicely in your project bag. Numbers are limited. I haven't made a huge number of those, but they are available in my shop as of today, Friday. Okay, that is just about it, I think. My plans for the next couple of weeks are to... Oh, I just found it. There it is. Plans for the next couple of weeks are to finish my Cumulus blouse, please. Keep working on my socks. Keep going on Nana the Lady Duck. Maybe start my crochet, my corner to corner crochet blanket if I finish my other blanket. Or maybe even if I don't. We'll see how strong the urge to start it goes. And that's about it. I feel like I've rushed that ending, but I don't want to keep you too long. So I will just take this opportunity to thank you ever so much for watching. If you made it all the way through to the end, thank you. Leave me a comment in the comment section underneath the video to let me know what you're working on, or if you've got any questions about anything that I showed, then leave those there as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be really good. If you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you're watching and not subscribed, then I would love you to join our little community here on YouTube. You can visit my website in a few days. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer, but hopefully in a few days I will have written the more detailed show notes, and those will be on my website soon-ish. It takes quite a lot to put together some show notes. You've got to make sure the photos are cropped properly and compressed, and you do alt text and things like that, so it's not a quick job, but it's one that I do. So anyway, I am rambling, as I am prone to do at the end of a video, so I will wrap it up there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.